Alright, so it's the next day. I've managed to somehow extend the wires that this thing originally had, so I can make it to where I can actually place all the parts where I want to. And luckily, the whole thing still works. Which I'm actually very happy, because last time I tried messing around with cabling like this, I really botched it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make sure I wrap these wires so they don't touch each other, make sure everything's nice and sturdy, and then figure out how exactly where I'm going to place this and this inside the aircraft. I already have a general idea, but it may change, I don't know yet. Alright, so I got the electronic board in. Oop, give me a second. And I have the other boards right here. As you can tell, I have it in a way to where I can have all the controls to the motherboard, from play, pause, forward and back, volume up, volume down, and on and off. And I can easily control everything from just these little buttons right here if I want to change the song, increase the volume, all that stuff. So all I gotta do now is figure out how exactly I'm going to place this and how I'm going to place the new battery in here, because I want to make it to where I can actually remove the actual battery if something goes wrong. That way so I can replace it and whatnot. But overall, everything is working. Alright, so update time. I got everything set inside except the battery. Here's the charging port, aux port. Here's all the controls to control each function. I have a little hole cut out here, so when I press this, you'll be able to see the LED that goes right here. That flashes blue. There's no LED that's around here, so that's for the battery indicator. Let's see. The only thing I gotta worry about now is trying to figure out how to place the battery. Give me a second to reopen this. Well, actually, not where to place it, how to build the battery bay. Because I know right now I can just use this battery and it'll last for around 4 hours like I stated before. But I want this thing to last longer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to somehow cut a hole basically about maybe this big to this big, and also throughout here and the bottom here to allow me to actually make a custom battery bay so I can replace this battery with another battery or whatever. Or whatever I can get my hands on to prolong the lifespan of this Bluetooth system I have in here. What I really want to do is I want to make it to where I can actually just easily attach and reattach this thing when need be. But unfortunately, I don't have any rare earth magnets with me. But what I'm probably going to end up doing is I'm just going to end up tacking this thing onto the body, just like probably like here, here, and here. That way, so if I need to remove this thing for servicing, I can easily just pull it off with minimal damage, and repair it, rebuild, or whatnot. But before I end this part of this video, I also want to come in on these. These little speakers, how I stated in a previous video, either this video or one I uploaded earlier, that I thought these were two independent speakers. They're not. This is the main driver, and this is just a fake speaker that I guess act like a subwoofer or something. I don't know, but this actually isn't a speaker. I'm trying to figure out a way to easily remove this shroud, so I can see how it will sound with this thing removed. But they built this thing. I mean, there's a way to pop this thing apart without damaging it. I'm just having a hard time to figure out exactly how I should go through with it. But with that said, I'm still going to be using these speakers. They are smaller than what I was originally planning. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to build a battery bay and come back when I figure out the battery bay. Alright, I won't lie. This is one of the times when I wish I had a 3D printer. But with that said, I was still capable of getting it done. If I had a 3D printer, I'll be able to 3D print this whole thing out and actually have it all and just be able to drill holes, but whatever. And I don't got I don't got $300 to spend on a 3D printer, so yeah. So with that, I got the thing wired up more or less. Everything's still intact. It's a little it's a little off, as you can tell. It's not exactly straight. It's not exactly the best looking thing in the world, but for what I need it to do, it'll do the job. So, like I said previously, aux port, charging port, all the little buttons to get me to turn the thing on, to volume up, down, all that. And what I decided, and what I did for the battery bay is right here. If I remember which way it opens up, which I do not. Okay, it opens up like this. Right now it's just a friction fit. I may make a better friction fit system, but for right now that's how this thing works. And as you can tell, I have a big battery bay right here, so I can easily stick this massive battery in there with more or less ease to the little itty bitty battery that this thing originally came with. With that said, I'll probably be able to find myself a pretty decent sized one cell off Hobby King, I believe, and place it in here too. I can also take some of my other one cell batteries, because I know I got at least a few of them laying around, and actually use that in here. So that's this. The only real thing I have to end up doing is solder on an actual connector. That way, so I can just connect each battery individually instead of having to strip the wires and then do it that way. So I need to go and buy myself another connector or something. And of course, I have the wires out for the speakers. And of course, I routed it correctly. This is the left channel. This is the right channel. And pretty much what I'm also going to do is I am just going to make it to where I can easily remove this thing without damaging the actual aircraft that much. I'm going to put a bead of hot glue here, a bead of hot glue here, and a bead of hot glue here. That way, so if I need to repair this thing, if I want to rebuild it, if I want to put in a new sound system inside this thing, all I do is I just pull this thing off, spend a day rebuilding it, and pop the new chassis on. This is actually going to be the easiest way for me to upgrade a speaker system in any of the things I've built over the years. I mean, like for instance, my dubstep gun. If I wanted to upgrade my dubstep gun, I would have to rip the whole thing apart or just completely rebuild it. If I want to upgrade the sound system for my Valkyrie, all I do is I just pop this thing off and rebuild it. So is there anything else I want to talk about? Those are the canards. That's my cat. Oh yeah, I did get this Valkyrie for the battery. But I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, I think that's it for now. I'll just upload this video and I think I'll do some more building. But for right now, I want to get outside and actually do something since it's nice and sunny.